In this video, we will start coding in C. I will cover four topics. One topic is a general programming concept. Other three are C specific. Now, some of the ideas might overlap, and I will try my best to present ideas in a simpler way with as little overlap as possible. Now, we will start by creating an empty folder, and we will type mkdir megdir space test folder, the name of the folder, and then we will enter inside this folder by typing cd and then the name of the folder and press enter. Now, the first concept that we will look at is called man, and I will type man and then megdir, which is this command right here, and press enter. And what this will do is it will bring us to this page, and here we can see that it says megdir make directories. And then if you were to come down here in the description, it tells us that the megdir utility creates the directories named as operands. Now I will exit out of this by pressing Q, and when we type man space man and press enter, it brings us to this page which tells us that the man format and display the online manual pages. So what the man pretty much does is it's you can sort of think of it as a manual that it gives you more information about a function or a command, what that function is and what it does, and some of the usages. Man is a general topic and not just C specific, and it will help you outside of C as well. The reason I'm mentioning man is because later I will talk about some C topics that will involve me typing man and then the C concept. So I wanted to mention this now, and the hope is it would make it easy to understand concepts with as little overlap as possible. So now we will create a C file, and I will type vim04 intro.c. Now you can name your file anything, but the file name has to end with a .c file extension. And I'm putting a header here. Don't worry too much about what this header is, but I'll point out a few things that it has the name of the file and the person who created it, when the file was created, month, date, time, and when the file was updated. And now we will look at some of the concepts that we will be covering. And the first one is the man, which I already talked about, that what man is and what it does. The second concept that we will look at is comments. How do we comment something in C? Third concept that we will look at is standard input output, C library, which is also known as stdio.h. Fourth topic that we will look at is compiling code, and we will compile a short C program. Now, in order for us to comment, there are two ways to comment in C. The first one is to have two forward slashes. And as you can see that line 15 turned into C on, and that's because it's a comment. And when I do the same thing on line 16, now that's a comment. And another way to comment in C is to have forward slash, asterisk, and then we will close it off with the asterisk and backslash. Now when we have a forward slash, it will just comment one line, but when we have a forward slash asterisk, anything that we have, like when we want to comment out a big block of code, that's what we would do. That's what we would use. We would use forward slash asterisk, and then we would close it off with asterisk and backslash. This header right here, if you see, this header is also a comment. Now, what happens when we have a piece of code commented is that it gets ignored by the compiler. Think of it that the computer just ignores anything that's commented. And it's a good practice to have comments to document different parts of the code, because sometimes code gets really cryptic, and having comments would explain to other programmers what you were trying to do with a piece of code. Now, the next concept that we will look at is the stdio.h C standard library and compiling code. So there will be a bit of overlap because I'll try to cover both at the same time, but I'll try my best to keep it as simple as I can. So what we will do is we will type the hash symbol and include and less than and greater than sign, and then we will type stdio.h. Now what we are doing is we are getting access to printf when we type stdio. So let's just say that if there was some other function that you were trying to get access to, and that file was called, let's just say abcd, then what we will do is we will type hash symbol include and then less than and greater than symbol and then abc. And I will talk more about this in the future when we start using other different functions. So we need access to this printf function, and what we will do is we will type man print stdio, and if we just scroll all the way down, we will see that we have this function. We have the printf function right here. And now we will come down and we will type int main, and then we will have open parentheses, close parentheses, and then we will type void. And here we will have the open curly brackets and close curly brackets. Now pretty much all of the code that we have will go inside int main void. And you might be thinking that wait, that's not true because we have this line of code that's outside int main void, and yeah, that's the that's true, but then at the same but then also what's really happening is all of the pretty much all of the code that we have will get executed that's inside the int main. So let's just say that the printf function that we have, which is inside this file, and this line of code is outside int main, but what we are doing is we are getting access to this printf function inside stdio. We will be getting access to this inside our main. So we will go through this function and inside this file through our int main. So we will have printf, and then we will have the open parentheses and close parentheses, and then we will have double quotation marks, and here you can type anything, and I will type hello, we are learning C, and then I will have backslash n and then semicolon, and then I will save this. Now right now when we do ls, the only file that we have is 04intro.c, but when we do gcc 04intro.c, what this does is it creates a file called a.out, and a.out is an assembler file. You can also think of it as an executable file that you can run this file. And in order for us to run this file, what we have to do is we have to type dot forward slash, and actually you can look at this file, what this file looks like, and you will see that this is what this file looks like. But really what we are looking for and the way we would run this file is we will have dot forward slash a dot out, and then we just press enter, and here we will see that we have hello, we are learning C. And another way to compile, so that's one way to compile the C program, that we will do gcc 04 intro.c. So that's one way to compile this program. The second way to compile this program would be to type gcc, and then we will type again the name of the file intro.c, and then we will have dash o, and let's just say that if we wanted to call our executable file hello, then we will have the name of the file that we wanted, whatever it is that we wanted to call it. So right now we have a.out and 04intro.c, so we will type gcc and then 04intro.c, and then we will have dash o. And now what we want to call our file, instead of calling it a.out, we want to call it hello, and we will press enter. And now when we do ls, we will see that we have three files, 04intro.c and a.out, which are from before. Now we also have a new file which is called hello, And the way we run this hello file, we run it the same way how we ran a.out, and we will do dot forward slash hello, and we will press enter. And here we can see that this output right here is the same output, hello we are learning C, as the output that we had right here with a.out. And this is how we would compile a program in C. Now I realize that I mentioned the word function a lot in this video, and a function is really a program that performs a specific task. So let's just say that you created a program and you called that program hello, which was doing the same thing as this printf statement right here, which is hello we are learning C. Now if you call that program hello, then that hello program would be called a function. And I will talk a lot more about function and what they do, and how to create them. But now I just figured that I will just mention what functions are, since I mentioned function so much in this video. Now one last thing that I will do is I will comment out this piece of code right here, which is include stdio.h, just so I can show you what happens then. And right now, and I will remove the files. So right now we only have 04 intro.c, and now when we do gcc 04 intro.c, and we will see that we get this warning which says implicitly declaring library function printf. And what it's saying is that we are calling the function printf, which we are right here, but it doesn't know what printf is. And in order for us to fix that, there are two ways we can fix this. We can either include the header, which it tells us right here, not include the header stdio.h, or explicitly provide a declaration for printf. So we already know what will happen if we remove the comment and we just have stdio.h. So what we will do is we will try to explicitly mention the printf prototype. And in order to do that, what we will do is we will do man3 printf and press enter. And what this will do is, and here we can see that it's stdio.h, and we see the printf right here. And here what we are trying to do is we're trying to get access to this thing right here. And this is what's called a prototype. Again, for now, don't worry too much about this, but I just wanted to mention this. And what we will do is we will type int, and then we will have printf and const char, and then we will have the star, and then we will type restrict format, and then we will have the comma and then three dots, and then we will finish it off by having a semicolon, and then we will save this. And now when we do gcc 04 intro.c, and now we can see that we have a.out file, and now we will do dot forward slash a.out, and we can see that we have hello we are learning C. And that's because this printf function, or this small program, it sits inside this stdio.h, that we can get access to this function through this. And if we don't want to include stdio, that's completely perfectly fine. We can just include printf. But the reason we include the library is because, let's just say that there were 15 or 20 different functions that were inside stdio. Instead of having to call all of those functions one by one manually, we would just include the library, and that would just take care of and that would just like take care of it for us. And before I finish this video, I will mention two things. I noticed that I mentioned the word library a lot, and for library you can think that it's sort of synonymous to the word header. If you see right here, when we got the message, it said that include the header stdio.h, and let's just say if you were to do man stdio, you will see that it says standard input output library functions. So you can think of the library as synonymous to header, and I will make a separate video and talk more about what headers are and what they do. Second thing that I wanted to mention is ending a line of code. In C, whenever we want to end a line of code, what we will do is we will have the semicolon at the end. We don't have one after include stdio.h, and whenever we include any of the header files, we will not have a semicolon. But we have one right after this when we have int printf, and we will do this whenever we call a function like this. We will have a semicolon. When we just call the function by itself like this, we will have a semicolon. But we don't have a semicolon at the end after int main void. But we do right after when we have the printf statement. This is one of the really simpler concepts to pick up and understand. And as you see more code, you will be able to see that when we do need a semicolon, and when we don't need a semicolon. I hope this video was helpful in introducing you to the C programming language. I will talk more in the future videos about some of the concepts that were mentioned in this video that I could not go into too much detail. And hopefully the upcoming videos will answer some of the questions that you might have. In the next video, I will talk about data types that are used to store information in C.